Do you remember the first portfolio you ever made? Yes, I do. I think I was at school and I was preparing for a foundation course, and it was very big and very heavy. Thankfully, we don't have portfolios like that now. Hello, my name's Chris. I'm the College Admissions Tutor for the School of Material at Central St Martin's, and I'm here to answer your questions about building a portfolio. Okay, what's one thing applicants overthink? I think they think that they need to show everything they've ever done. That's a problem. I think they need to try to edit and show a clear narrative. It's sometimes not about perfection. It's maybe about sometimes the mistakes they make as well. So don't think about showing us everything that's perfect and finished. Think it's about showing us the ideas. What's one word you'd use to describe a strong portfolio? Inquisitiveness, risk. I'm sure I used two words there, but I think risk, an element of risk. What's one thing you see too much of and something you see too little of in a portfolio? We don't see enough drawing. I think maybe that's something which I think is really vital for all the courses within the School of Material, actually, the importance of drawing. Sometimes we see too much writing, and I think it's that analysis of what you've done is not so important. It's the visual that's important. How important is technical skill compared to experimentation? Experimentation is vital, and I think experimentation about playing with different materials, looking at different scale, challenging yourself is far more important than having a skill. The technical skill you will be taught. That's what we're here for, to teach you those skills. It's much harder to teach developing of an idea and also a willingness to experiment. So really the portfolio should show that willingness to experiment rather than that emphasis on a technical skill. How much do you value process work, prototypes and material testing? These are all important, and I think to evidence that is important. I think, there is a sort of narrative where you start a project which is about your research, and then we go into the development of ideas. So how do I take something which is two-dimensional and make it three-dimensional? Now, in that process, they've got to experiment. They've got to test things. So they've got to say the prototype can maybe be made out of paper to begin with, or clay. Then they would start to think about how and why a certain material will work better than another material. Have you ever looked at a portfolio and felt immediately engaged? Yes, all the time. I think the portfolio is really like a magazine. And although it's in digital form, you have to think about what we see first of all. It's like going to a bookshop. What books do you pick up because you're attracted to the image on the cover? And then as we go through the pages, we become engaged. And it's trying to make the narrative as strong at the beginning as it is at the end. So it's a bit like creating a really delicious sandwich that every bite you take tastes as good. Are you looking for students who already have a distinctive visual style or students who are still exploring? The visual style continues all the time. I think we expect to see people with the potential of developing ideas. Obviously, you can have a very strong visual style when you start, but hopefully that's not going to remain. Hopefully that will change and be challenged throughout your time on one of the courses. Sometimes it's not always the technical or the most visually strong portfolio that one is attracted to. Sometimes it's the one that has the potential. How should a fashion communication portfolio differ from a fashion design portfolio? One is actually the making of fashion, and one is actually maybe the reporting or the representation of fashion. In a fashion communication portfolio, it could be about narrative, it's about telling a story. And I think that's really important, about to tell a story about fashion. What would you expect to see in a fashion portfolio that differs from a textile portfolio? Now, within the fashion portfolio is actually the application of the ideas onto a figure. The textile design portfolio will be about the designing of a textile, whether that's a weave or a print or a knit. I think both of them really require skill in drawing, experimentation, use of colour. Is it essential for jewellery portfolios to show use of conventional jewellery materials? That's precious metals. Absolutely not. I mean, I think in a way that's almost a disadvantage. I think you should show what you consider jewellery, what you consider body decoration, and how The most mundane materials, things you can find on the street, can make something beautiful, something to adorn the body. Do you need to show knowledge of textile processes? Absolutely not. Obviously, it's a help. But I mean, I think some basic skill is always an advantage, but one wouldn't expect you to be able to use a loom. You may know how to knit or to crochet. And certainly with printing can be so simple. It can be stencil printing, it could be rubber stamp. So you're thinking about pattern, you're thinking about color, you're thinking about decoration. That's more important than the actual how is it done. Well, I hope that's been helpful. There's just a few of the questions that you may have had. My final bit of advice is be yourself. Have fun making the portfolio. Think about it, plan it. Think about what comes first and what you end with. You can't do it overnight. It does take some time. So be brave, have fun, and we look forward to seeing the portfolios in the future. Goodbye.